been a long fucking time, but we're back, folks. We're back. Counterpunch Pod. It's been 4 months.
Yeah.
We're new to these, which I guess a lot of people are, right? My name's Lucas. I'm here with Rohan, and it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I guess we could give a quick little breakdown about what's been going on, but before that, Rohan, how have you been? I guess.
I've been good, man. I've been good. Obviously, it's been a lot that's happened since our last episode, but I'm glad to be back. This kind of happened, pretty recently that we decided, we got to make a return. Big card coming up. We wanted to return on a banger.
It happened today.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to air us out like that, but okay. Yeah, it did happen today. Like we decided, together mutually that we are gonna pick it back up and start fresh. Hopefully a new audience joins us along the way. But man, I'm so excited to be back breaking down some fights. We got a big ass card coming up this weekend, so I'm feeling good, bro. How about you?
I'm good. Before I get into it, your mic is a little bit echoey, so if you have like AirPods, will you put those in?
All right, let me try. Cause I get like mixed signals about that. All right, let me know if that sounds a little better.
Is it connected?
Yeah. Can you
talk now? Talk.
You hear me now? A little better?
That'll do. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long. What?
I don't know why it would be echoey if I didn't have it in there. Because like people be telling me my AirPods are not working, or like they sound muffly when I have them in. I don't know. I'm trying to get new AirPods in.
I think your room sounds a little fucked up. It's the AirPods are
maybe. Yeah.
We're here. We're back. It's been a long time coming. It's been 4 months. Rohan and I personally, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I was doing something with my life that was taking 12 hours out of the day, every day, including weekends. Meaning that when I was doing this thing, I was watching UFC on my phone. And, it was a mixture of that and the burden of doing this podcast 24/7 and posting videos. It kind of like made my love for UFC go away a little bit. And I hated that. I really hated that. My whole philosophy on life is always turn something you love into what you do in life, right? So as soon as I found love in UFC, I wanted to do this with you. As soon as, remember, we started watching tennis like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I instantly made a social media page about tennis. But I realized that you can't drive yourself away from what you love. And I feel like it got to that point, a mixture of that and just working 24/7. It forced us to take a little bit of a break. I mean, Rohan's just been at school, but here we are. We're back. Thankfully, we've got more time now. And right now, you see us here under the Counterpunch Pod banner for UFC 322. And to be completely honest, Rohan wasn't going to say it, but I'll say it. We literally made the decision to come back today. And we don't expect a lot of people coming into the stream. I mean, we're probably so far out of the algorithm. It's fucking crazy. We haven't done a live stream Poirier versus Oliveira, which is 4 months? Almost half a year. That's fucking crazy. Time flies. But yeah, we're here. We're back, and expect a lot of changes very soon. Expect much more long-form YouTube content coming. We're ready to take this to the next level, and I'm starting a new life over here. Rohan's about to graduate college. Stuff's gonna get very interesting. I'm falling back in love with the sport again. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, we have a card to break down, and it's probably the best pay-per-view of the entire year. I'm really looking forward to it. Before we get into that, let's check out the comments. We got Paffle Official saying, "Where the fuck y'all been at?" By the way,
hey, we back. Don't worry about it, man.
I'm sorry, we've been gone. We've been busy, but here we are. We're back. We got my boy Cole. Good to see you boys back. Hope all is well with you too. I'm going to the card.
Hey,
conference Thursday. Wait for this one. Yo, Cole. Rohan and I will both be in the city on Thursday and Friday. So
yeah.
We could probably go to the press conference on Thursday.
Low key. Yeah, because we'll be back. We should be back early enough. We should be back because I'm driving down, but we should be back early enough to go.
Cole, I don't know how the fuck you were willing to spend $1,000 on tickets, but I'm not doing that shit. Yeah, we got Triad. Good to see all the familiar faces back. We're here. Any final words before we jump to this card? I know it's been a long time, so if there's anything you want to say, go ahead.
No, man, it's just crazy, doing some reflecting as you were just talking. I mean, just saying that I'm about to graduate, and we literally did start this podcast, probably now like 3.5, 4 years ago. And we have gained a lot of fans, a big audience on both, Instagram and YouTube. And we're grateful for everybody that's been a part of that journey with us. But I think, as you said, both of us are looking to make a little shift and try to just prioritize this a lot more than we have been over the past couple of months or over the past half year. We want to take it more seriously, diversify the content, give you guys more to be excited about. And that's the goal. So I'm just excited to take that next step. And this is a great place to start. So let's break down some fights, bro. I'm ready to go. We back at it.
Expect a lot to change, but for right now, Counterpunch Pod is back, and we're here ready to break down UFC 322. It was like almost foreign to me trying to figure out how to start this live stream up again after doing it week in and week out. And then after 4 months, I was like, how the fuck do I start this thing again? It took me like a bit. But here we are. We're ready. I almost struggled figuring out how to share my screen here. I got it now. I click this button. StreamYard has changed. My premium subscription's gone. So if you see that logo near Rohan's head, sorry about that. Yeah. On next week. I got to pay StreamYard. Didn't have time for it this week.
Yeah. No, we'll figure that out next time. Next episode.
We'll figure it out. Sorry. This is very abrupt. We're back. Let's do it. UFC 322. Can you see my screen? Just making sure.
Yep. Everything's there.
We're good. And by the way, folks, just because we've been gone for so long doesn't mean we're not watching. I've watched a single fight. I know all about the whole rigged bullshit that went down 2 weeks ago. I was watching that live. I actually bet Del Valle before that fight. I mean, I've probably been watching UFC more than I have ever been in this little break.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to keep up as much as I can, and pretty much every card I've been able to tune into most of. But now I'm locked back in, not missing any fights, and done my research, done my preparation for this one. So it's a good card. Actually, a great card, man. Great card from top to bottom, really. There's so many fights on this one that I'm like fight of the night potential, like at least 3 or 4, honestly.
All right, first up in the card, we have Vyacheslav Borshev taking on Mateusz Camilo. This is a short notice fight. And to prove to you guys that I've been staying locked in, a few weeks ago, Camilo, I think this was 2 weeks ago, Camilo was supposed to fight this was on the UFC 321 card. Camilo was supposed to fight Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Al-Sawadi pulled out due to like personal stuff. I don't know what happened. Camilo's now rebooked against Borshev, completely different matchup, going from a pace and pressure guy and Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi to Borshev, a pure striker, no grappling, bad shin. This is a completely different fight. Now, I think this is a winnable fight for Borshev, but I mean, the takedown defense is so bad. It's very tough for me to find a bet on this guy. First of all, I'm not going to get too in depth on this one because it is a short notice matchup. Camilo has not had neither fighter has had the proper amount of time to prepare for one another. I do think that I think this one's going to go the distance. I think it's going to be a split decision. It's going to be the grappling of Camilo or the strikes of Borshev. I think I'm going to give Camilo, I'll give him the benefit of doubt. I think he gets a split here, honestly. I mean, I think the difference in the grappling is much more wide than the striking difference. But Camilo really did not impress me at all in his last fight. I think that was against Gabe Green.
Gabe Green? Yeah, Gabe Green. But Gabe Green's even a much different fighter than Vyacheslav at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough fight. There's not a lot for me to say on this fight. Probably one of my least favorite fights on the entire card. I think this one goes the distance. I think it's close. I'll go the slight favorite Camilo. But honestly, from a betting perspective, you have a guy in Camilo who looked awful in his debut. Hasn't really proved to us anything against a UFC vet in Borshev. The issue with Borshev is, as I said, no chin, no grappling. I mean, who fucking knows, man? He's a wild card. I'll go Camilo
Yes.
decision. Not a lot to say about this one. I don't expect you to say a lot either. But go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna add on to pretty much what you said. I think stylistically, I mean, it's a better matchup for Camilo. I think just because of how we've seen Borshev's decline. I mean, a couple of years ago, he was stringing together wins, not against the best competition or anything, but still looking good on the feet. I mean, he's one that always just mixes it up, just throws a lot of dexterity. But I mean, you've seen the decline pretty much. I mean, since that Chase Hooper fight, ever since that. I mean, the one win against James Lontop, lost against Tom Nolan, lost against Terrence McKinney. Finished against Terrence McKinney. Again, the submission defense, the grappling defense is just really, really, really not where it needs to be. And Camilo, I mean, that is I don't even want to consider him a grappler or wrestler because that's not really even what he prefers to do. But I think it might be just natural to him in this fight because Borshev is still, decent enough on the feet and probably the more technical striker. Although I think that Camilo might be a little more powerful, just given that he's only 24 years old. He throws with a lot of power, nice calf kicks. But he doesn't pressure. He throws like one shot at a time a lot of the time, and he doesn't like pressure, which is not something that he'll have to worry about here because Borshev is not going to be in his face for the entire 3 rounds. So I think, ultimately, this is just stylistically a better matchup for Camilo. I think one that he can show a little bit of his, well-rounded ability and on the feet and on the ground. So I would be looking for him to win this one. I'm going to probably say unanimous decision. 30-27, maybe 29-28 in there somewhere. But I just think that, Camilo by decision is probably going to be where I lean as well with this fight. Just because Borshev, I can't trust him anymore, man. The chin's gone. Grappling's terrible. I don't like the matchup for him.
Yeah, and when I talk, if you could just mute your mic just because there is a little bit of echo. But when
Gotcha.
We got FBA saying Counterpunch return and Wellmaker fight week. Yeah, it's a dream week, isn't it? All right, second fight on the card, we've got Baisingur Susarkayev versus Eric Makoniko. I think this is Susarkayev all day, every day. He's a -800 favorite. I think it makes sense. I actually cashed a very lucky bet on Eric Makoniko in his last fight against Cody Brundage. Thought he lost the fight, got the decision. This is a completely different fighter here against Susarkayev. I think that Makoniko is going to be done fast. I think Susarkayev finishes this in 1. Makoniko just really does not respond to strikes well. You saw he got hit clean against Rusabov and was just done. He had that fight against Brundage, which was a war, but man, he just really, whenever he gets hit, he backs up. And against Susarkayev, a guy that's an absolute animal, his nickname's the Hunter, that just can't happen. Susarkayev has really bad striking defense. I mean, he does not move his head. That's not going to be a problem here against Makoniko, a guy that wants to grapple you. Yeah, no, this is a setup. Susarkayev round 1 knockout, in my opinion. What do you got? Muted.
Sorry. Yeah, probably going to go the exact same prediction here. Look at the tape. Yes, you're right to mention that Susarkayev, his head movement is lacking. Oh my gosh, here come the police.
You gotta mute. Yeah, I don't know. We came back and your audio was never a problem. What's fucking going on here?
Is it bad? Like, because I want to take my AirPod out and try again, but is it bad like right now?
Okay. Disc. I think your AirPods might have been connected before. Try just turning them on.
All right, can you hear me now? Better?
Talk.
I'm talking now.
I don't know, chat. Is that better? Yes or no? Talk again.
Yeah, y'all gotta let me know if this is a little bit. I'm talking clear and the volume's up. I can hear you clearly. And nothing's in my ears as you can see. So
okay.
It should be better.
Let's let it rock.
Anyways. Look, I like the tape on Susarkayev. I think he's obviously a lot of room to grow. He has no striking defense whatsoever. But he just keeps coming forward at his opponents. And I mean, I like his striking. He reminds me a lot of somebody like Shara, the way he stands in like a karate stance and he feints a lot, feints with his legs, feints with his hands. I mean, he keeps you guessing. And then when he, sees an opening, he's just going to take it wherever it is. So he does have a tendency to get overconfident. But again, against somebody like Makoniko, he hasn't really been impressive at all throughout his UFC tenure so far. And he's not an aggressive fighter in his own right. I mean, he's more of a counter striker, wrestler type of figure. And Susarkayev, I don't think he's going to have to worry about too much coming back at him when he's just, stalking Makoniko for the first 3 minutes of this fight. I think he's going to be out of there quick. I think Susarkayev, like, he's not the fastest, but he's very technical. He's very powerful. And again, just one feint, down low to drop Makonako's hands, one shot over the top. That could be all it takes. So I'm really gonna look for Susakai to finish this. Oh my gosh, his name is hard for me to say, but to finish this one early, I think he gets a round 1 TKO for sure.
Yep, I'm with you. Let's move on. Next fight in the card, we have what do we have? And by the way, we'll head through these prelims a little bit quicker because we've got some other videos to record. I actually did record a bunch of short videos a few days ago, and all the audio is completely fucked. So got to re-record tonight. So we'll kind of move through these prelims pretty fast, especially this one right here. Angie Hill, Fatima Klein. I mean, this is just this should be Fatima Klein all day, every day. She is really, really nasty for a women's fighter. I mean, let alone a strawweight. I mean, she is just violent. And Angie Hill loves to just point fight her way to a close split decision. That's not going to happen here with Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein's going to bring a war. She's going to bring the violence. And that's exactly what Angie Hill doesn't want. There's a gritty fight against someone that's young, in their prime, and dangerous, and only getting better. Fatima Klein, I mean, she looked okay in that debut fight against Jasovicius, but she took it on like a week's notice. She lost 30-27, but I mean, you can't really blame her. She comes back with two brutal finishes, two dominant finishes. And, Angie Hill, she's very, 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 very slowly declining as her career goes on. She's 40 years old, about to be 41. It makes sense. I think that Klein grapples, dominates. Does she get a finish against Angie Hill, who I don't think has ever been finished? No, she's been subbed twice. I think there is a real world where Fatima Klein finds a sub if she's able to get the takedowns consistently. We'll see. But Klein domination, she is minus 500 for a reason. Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, look, you rarely see Angela Hill this big of an underdog, but I think there is a pretty solid reason for that this week. I mean, I don't want to say that Angie Hill is even really declining that much because she hasn't looked terrible. And if you look at who she's fighting, it's not like she's fighting bad fighters at all. She's fought, pretty much top 15, adjacent fighters since, she's been back in, not contention, but when she's been back in the mix. And I mean, look, this is just a matchup where I think Fatima Klein's definitely taking a step up, going from Melissa Martinez, who, I mean, again, she had a beautiful knockout against her. But it's just a completely different tier of striker when you're looking at somebody like Angie Hill. But the problem I have is what you already mentioned is with the ground game. I just think Klein is going to be, I mean, she is one that just is very aggressive in there. She keeps coming forward. She has really decent head movement, honestly. I like what she does there. But she's really, really aggressive in there. And I think she's going to eventually hold Angie up against the cage for a long time, hopefully get her down. And the submission is definitely something to look out for here because I think that's the area that she can really exploit. I don't know how. I really am not as convinced that she can exploit Angie on the feet as much because, again, like going from Melissa Martinez, I mean, you watch that tape back and she is not throwing at all. She's basically like a punching bag for Fatima Klein. Angie Hill is not going to be like that. But still, I mean, she is susceptible to get taken down here and there. So, yeah, I think overall, Fatima Klein, I think my pick is going to be Klein by unanimous decision. I think Angie Hill, she always just has a way of making fights a little bit trickier for her opponents than they expect. And I think the line is a little bit disrespectful, just a little bit. But yeah, ultimately, I think Klein is going to edge this one. So I'm going to take her by unanimous decision. Oh, Lucas is. Oh,
can you see when I do that, by the way?
yeah. Actually, that's actually good. I mean, if you want to do
that, right? Like but I still want the here. Maybe I can make this screen. Sorry, I'm like.
Nah, but when we're going on for an extended minute or so, you could just zoom in.
That's what I'm saying. I was getting bored. I was like, what we got over here?
It's good. It's good.
Oh, all right. Interesting. We come back after 4 months, we're changing shit around. Look at us. We're cooking. All right. Next fight on the card. Everything's back to normal now, right? Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
Good. All right. Next fight, we've got Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. Mariscal coming in here right now lined at plus 115. The Sabatini's minus 135, although it says otherwise right here. I think Chepe gets this done as an underdog. I think that Pat Sabatini wins fights when he gets the fight he wants, and he's able to have success grappling you for 15 minutes. If you look at his last fight against Joe Anderson Brito, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He got those takedowns and he was able to just dominate every single minute of that fight because his grappling was just too much for Brito. It was a very impressive win. I mean, Brito, who's known for being such a dangerous fighter, just got completely dominated. But I think this is a similar yet much different matchup because Mariscal's dangerous. He's going to be dangerous at all times. But unlike Brito, Mariscal can grapple and he moves and he has cardio and he's willing to. He trains over in Colorado. He is willing to just flow with Sabatini all day, every day. And Sabatini's without a doubt the better grappler. I mean, Pat Sabatini has some of the best grappling in the entire UFC, let alone just the featherweight division. This guy is really, really talented on the mat, but Mariscal is just, he's so fast twitched on the ground. He's able to get out of these odd positions just by being so spastic. And I think that when Sabatini finds somebody that's ready to bring a war, he struggles. I mean, when this fight's on the feet, it's going to be Mariscal coming forward and throwing bombs. And Sabatini, I just don't think he's going to have anything for him. I think MSG is going to help Mariscal out. It's going to I think that the apex is much better for Sabatini because he's really able to control his mind and take that grappling approach. But you go ahead and look at that Diego Lopez fight. I mean, he got one takedown stuff. They got into a war and he died. I think Mariscal defends some takedowns, force Sabatini into another war and gets a knockout because Sabatini's chin is just not the best. We saw Sabatini get front kicked by Damon Jackson. It's enough said. I think Mariscal gets a knockout here. I like him as a dog.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to like Chepe in this fight, especially at the price. I mean, he's just one of those fighters you want to be on his side, whether you're betting on him, rooting for him, because he's a fighter that never gives up. I mean, he's as gritty as it gets. I mean, he's always just coming forward in the face of the fire. He does not care. He'll eat 10 shots to land his 2. But I mean, it works for him because he's able to outlast his opponent, more often than not. And I think that could be the case again here against somebody like Pat Sabatini, who, I mean, you mentioned he has incredible grappling, is very good positionally. He knows how to just hold you down. But Mariscal is literally one of the hardest fighters in the division, I feel like, to contain, especially on the ground, because he's always just scrambling, giving you your back, but getting up and turning in. Just he's constantly, like you said, flowing with the chaos. It's very, very fun to watch. And I think he is improving a lot. I mean, if you look at his fight against Trevor Peek, which was a while ago now, but one of the classic UFC fights of, this recent generation. I mean, like, he looked really out of control at a lot of points and was letting somebody like Trevor Peek, piece him up. I think now he's gotten even a little bit better at just controlling his movement in the pocket, hitting you with unexpected shots. He's never easy to get a read on. But what I think this fight really comes down to is the cardio. I mean, Sabatini, he'll probably win a round. I think Pat will probably win round 1. Take Chepe down here and there, hold him down, land some ground pound, but he's not going to be able to do that for 3 rounds. Nobody's ever been able to do that to Chepe Mariscal. And I think that, like you said, the crowd is going to be on his side for sure. They know what to expect in a Chepe fight. And he's going to bring it for all 3 rounds, and it's up to Pat to keep that pressure and that pace throughout those 3 rounds. And I think that's going to be really hard to do. So I could see a 2-1 comeback on Chepe's side. I could see a late KO like you predict. But either way, I'm just going to side with Chepe here. I think there's a lot of reasons to like him. And he's just one of the most fun fighters to watch, bro. When have you ever seen a boring Chepe Mariscal fight?
Never. Never. I agree with you 100%. We've been gone for how long? 4 months, and we've already agreed with pretty much everything. We're still on the same wavelength, folks. We haven't lost our touch. Do not worry. On to the next one, Gerald Meerschaert versus Kyle Daukaus. Daukaus came back in the UFC after a few years, fought Michel Pereira and knocked him out. I mean, I did not know Kyle Daukaus was capable of such things, but I guess he's back and better than ever. And I think that this is probably the worst style matchup for Gerald Meerschaert. I mean, the worst. Daukaus is like Gerald Meerschaert, but Gerald Meerschaert 6 years ago. I mean, I think Daukaus is just better in every single facet of martial arts at this stage in both of their careers. I mean, Meerschaert's just looked really, really, really bad. I mean, he got knocked out by Oleksiejczuk brutally. He got dominated by Tavares. I mean, just some really bad looks from Meerschaert in his last few fights. That fight against Reiner de Ritter, he was actually hanging in there. and then DeRitter pulls a GM3 on GM3 and gets the 3rd round submission. I think Daukaus in this fight is just better everywhere. I do think Daukaus is much improved from his first UFC stint. And I do think that he submits Gerald Meerschaert here. Just younger, more athletic. I mean, I think GM3's done, and I think this is a passing of the guard if you've ever seen one. Yeah, I like Daukaus. I think he finds a finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of these cases. I mean, Borishev was another one that we both mentioned. I mean, the deterioration is very evident right now. I mean, he's very much on the decline. And the same thing with GM3. I mean, every fight he looks kind of worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, all right, dude, you've always been kind of a one-trick pony. But when that one trick starts to fade, then it just gets tough, you know? And I mean, how is he going to win this fight? I mean, to your point, it's a really, really, really bad stylistic matchup. Daukaus has looked to be improving. I mean, he's an excited, you know, striker. I think now he's kind of getting a groove back, especially after that knockout win over Pereira, who's, you know, not I wouldn't call him a decorated kickboxer, but he's dangerous in his own right for sure. Pretty unexpected, that result. But I mean, if you're coming off of a win like that, I mean, to lose to Gerald Meerschaert would just be such I don't know, like a crazy result, because I just think, yeah, like to your point, there's no reason that he should be losing this fight. He's pretty much better everywhere, very athletic, sneaky athletic, but definitely athletic, and he'll have pretty much every advantage in this fight. GM3's, even his takedown defense is never, I mean, reliable, especially at this point. The chin's starting to fade. I could see a shot inside getting to him. I could see, you know, a ground and pound situation. I could see a lot of outcomes here, but either way, Kyle Daukaus is going to win this fight. I'd be absolutely shocked if it was a GM3W.
Yeah, I agree. I think GM3 getting his signature 3rd round submission is just not something that's realistic.
By the way, 57 pro fights as well. I mean, that's damn. The dude has a lot of tread on those tires.
He's been through the ringer. You're 100% right. All right, 6th fight of the night. I know this is one that people are really looking forward to. It's Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. Now, Wellmaker was originally supposed to fight somebody else. Who was he supposed to fight? I'm actually curious. He was supposed to fight Serhi City. Now, I thought that was a really good fight for him. I thought he was going to get another knockout against the guy in City who doesn't really move his head. This is a completely different matchup, and Cody Haddon is much better. I mean, much better than Serhi City. I mean, this guy is I think he's really good. I mean, he had that fight in the Contender Series, submitted Billy Brand pretty fast. And then that fight against Dan Argueta, he absolutely dominated. I think that Cody Haddon is good. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's good everywhere, which is important here against Wellmaker, because for him to be able to mix up the grappling and wrestling against Wellmaker, he's going to need to hold his own on the feet. And I think that's something he can do here. Wellmaker has a very, very odd striking style. Doesn't really have any striking defense. He just has an insane amount of power and is really athletic. And I think that if Cody Haddon fights smart, he's able to pick his shots and mix in the grappling. And I think we could be seeing a big upset, not a big upset because Wellmaker's only -140, but the hype train behind Wellmaker is something else. And I think that could be stopped here. I think Cody Haddon can get this done. I think he can win a decision here. And I would not be surprised if the end of the Wellmaker hype train ends at UFC 322. I like Haddon a lot. I was honestly shocked when this fight was made. I don't know why Wellmaker took this fight, because even if he wins, I think it's going to be a very close fight that exposes some of his flaws, and I just don't think he's ready for that quite yet. At the same time, he is 31 years old, so it's better to just jump into it now. I mean, he's 31, and this is his 3rd fight in the UFC. I mean, I think this is the UFC's way of saying, okay, if you win this fight against a young prospect and Cody Haddon, we're sending you straight to the top 10 after this. So if Wellmaker wins this fight, if he gets another knockout here, that's, I mean, absolutely massive. I mean, the risk will be worth the reward, or the reward will be worth the risk. But I think Haddon's really good, and I think he can possibly get an upset here. So I'm going to go Cody Haddon as the dog. Who do you got?
I hate to agree. I hate to keep doing this, bro. We always do this, but look, this is a popular underdog pick. But if you're watching the tape and look, man, there's a lot of reasons to question the hype behind Cameron Wellmaker or Malcolm. Sorry, I said Cameron because I was looking at Cameron Simon. That's somebody that he beat. Malcolm Wellmaker. There's a lot of hype, obviously, and for good reason. 2 incredible results in his first 2 UFC fights. But look at the competition. I mean, Cameron Simon. I mean, he got exposed by Talbot. He got exposed by a lot of really good strikers. I mean, I don't really know how to value that win. And then the Moutinho win. I mean, when has Chris Moutinho been anything other than a punching bag? I mean, in the UFC at least, maybe outside of the UFC he does some things, but in the UFC he's been nothing but a punching bag, and that's exactly what he was. Malcolm Wellmaker in the UFC, 2 fights in, has not been out of the first round. That's great to hear if you're in his corner. But for somebody like Cody Haddon, who came in and kind of just dismantled Dan Argueta over 3 rounds and looked great, looked fresh in the 3rd round, he still looked really, really good. And what I liked about him is, I mean, when you mentioned about Malcolm's boxing style, he's kind of more, vertical. He's more straight up. But again, it's the power that's just so snappy coming from his hands. What I like about Haddon is he can move in and out. I think he's just as effective, honestly, moving backwards, and he's got good counters. And he also, his head movement, he's very good in just a traditional boxing stance where he's got his high guard, head is bouncing, and he's just throwing with really, really good precision in his hands. I really love his boxing. So I think this is going to be a really fun fight. But I just am really worried about Wellmaker's durability. We haven't seen him tested by somebody that can really put him on
any sort of fight at all.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We haven't really seen him in a fight because he's been just a wrecking ball. But Haddon's not going to be that. I don't think Haddon's just going to give him his chin, stick it up, and not give him anything to think about. This is going to be a really back and forth type of fight. Or maybe not, because like the way I'm thinking about it is if one guy goes out here and looks dominant, I think that might end up being well, it's tough to say because there's always the chance with as much power as Wellmaker has in his hands that he could just land that shot. But Haddon's head movement is really, really good. I think this is one spot where if this fight gets dragged past, a round and a half, 2 rounds, Haddon starts to take over and maybe he even finds a late finish. So I don't know, man. This is tough. This is a really tough one. I'm just very, very excited to see it. But I really agree with the way you're thinking. I don't think it's a great stylistic matchup for Wellmaker because this guy's striking and especially his boxing in the pocket, which is something that can definitely expose Wellmaker in such a straight and stiff stance that he's got. I think Haddon might win this one. So he's a popular underdog. I've seen on Twitter a lot of people taking him, but I can't really convince myself not to at that price either.
Here's the one thing I do want to say. Wellmaker has not been tested at all, but at the same time, this is also Cody Haddon's toughest fight by far. So
it is.
It can go both ways.
And the height advantage too that Wellmaker possesses, like if he uses his weapons to the best of his ability, uses some knees up the middle, Cody Haddon does have a tendency to drop his head low in order to get inside. But it's an interesting fight. But I think that might prove effective over 3 rounds, more so than what Wellmaker can offer.
Yeah, I think we're both going the dog here, and Cody Haddon to stop the hype train of Wellmaker. Let's move on. Next fight. There's a lot of fights on this card. Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. This one doesn't really interest me at all. It's going to go the distance. It's going to be a close striking fight. It's going to be a close grappling fight. I hate to be really boring, but that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a very close fight. But I do think that, this is really tough to call. We saw Erin beat Nami Yunus. We saw Tracy lose to Nami. This is just, I hate these fights. I hate these women's fights that are just so close and they're so evenly matched. And like, what do I fucking say? You go first. I'm sorry. You got to go first here.
No, I feel you. I mean, this is a really tough one. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, we know both of these women. We know what they're good at.
It's not just a tough one. It's a boring one.
It's boring and it's tough. But if it does, the only thing in my mind is like it could be exciting because like Blanchfield's, if her wrestling gets canceled out by Cortez and Cortez is able to, withstand the onslaught of takedown attempts that Erin Blanchfield's about to put on her. I mean, both of them will probably go for takedowns at some point in this fight. I think Blanchfield is probably the better overall wrestler and probably has the better control of the 2 women. But Cortez is a dog, man. I think, like, look, her only loss recently is to Rose Namajunas, a former champion. That's not really any shame in that. I know Erin Blanchfield did get a win over Rose, but it was Rose, kind of transitioning to a bigger weight class. I think it was like her 2nd or 3rd fight at flyweight. No, it was like her 4th fight at flyweight. But still, I don't know. I think Erin Blanchfield, I mean, it's easier for Erin Blanchfield to implement that sort of wrestle heavy style against somebody like Rose than it's going to be against somebody like Tracy Cortez. I mean, styles make fights. You can't do MMA math in a fight like this. But for whatever reason, I cannot tell you guys why. I'm sorry, I can't offer too much more analysis because it's going to be a back and forth scrap. It's going to be a scrap. But I think Tracy Cortez might just feed off of the crowd's energy a little bit better. I know Erin Blanchfield's been in the spotlight. She's fought for a belt. She's a little bit more tested at the higher level. But I think Tracy Cortez is she's done well. She did good against Viviane Araujo. I picked against her in that fight because I thought Viviane might, just prove to be a little too tough. But no, I mean, she looked good in that one. So look, I don't really have a lot of reasoning to go into this one, but I'm just going to pick for the fun of it, Tracy Cortez. I think the crowd will probably be rooting for her, and that might be enough to even push her against over the top.
Yeah, I think that it's a close fight. I think both are going to have their moments in the striking and the grappling, but I think I'm going to go Erin. I just think Erin's a little bit better, just a little bit better everywhere. I mean, that Manon fight was a really, really bad look, but it's also not aging as bad as we thought it would be. I mean, she looked awful. She couldn't get a single takedown. She just looked like she was in a completely different weight class in that fight. But Manon's a fucking monster. And I think that Erin, I just think she's a little bit better. And I think Cortez is no Manon Fiorot. I mean, they're two completely different fighters. It's going to be a completely different fight, of course. I just think she's just going to be a tiny bit more physical than Cortez. I think she's dealt with bigger fighters than Tracy. I think Erin gets a split decision, but no confidence at all.
I do think at the end of the day, what Cortez will probably hope to do is to keep it standing. I do think that if there is an advantage that Cortez has, it's probably like the speed department, just the overall, I don't know, just she's got a lot more variety on the feet, I think, and just a bit more of a confusion factor to her striking than Erin Blanchfield. Very straightforward Erin Blanchfield striking. I mean, she throws from the eye level, doesn't really do a lot to mix it up. I think Cortez might have a slight advantage there. So I do think that Erin Blanchfield is going to be the one that's trying to take this fight and hold the fight on the ground. So we'll see. It might end up being Clash of Styles, but yeah, it's not one that I'm super excited for at all, to be honest. It could end up being boring, but yeah, just for the vibes, Tracy.
Just for the vibes, you heard the man. Let's move on. Next fight, we've got Roman Kopylov taking on Gregory Rodriguez. This is a very interesting fight. I really am having a tough time with this one because what's the line right now? Gregory minus 162 on Bet Online to Kopylov.
Did that come down? Because I saw him at minus 180 at one point.
Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, he was minus 180.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might like a dog here in Kopylov. I might. As a matter of fact, I think I do like Kopylov. The issue with Kopylov is back in the day, his big issue was cardio. I mean, this guy had the worst cardio ever. He would always fade as the fight went on, but I mean, in more recent fights, cardio doesn't seem to be his problem. He had that fight against Chris Curtis in which, I mean, he got that 1 second left in the third round finish. I mean, he was fine. He was hanging in there in round 3. He had that fight against Paulo Costa in which he kind of got beat up. But cardio wasn't necessarily the problem. And Paulo Costa, I mean, he looked really good. He looked career best in that one. I think this is a completely different matchup against a guy, and I honestly think the Gregory Rodriguez fight is just, it couldn't be more different than the Costa fight because Costa was able to beat Kopylov by bouncing up and down, showing angles, beating the body. Rodriguez is more stationary, robotic. He comes forward and has so much power, and his grappling's elite, but I just don't know. The southpaw style of Kopylov might throw Rodriguez off. I just think that this is going to be a close fight. And I just don't know if Rodriguez is going to go for takedowns. And if he does, will he be able to get them? And if he doesn't, I think all he's relying on is that big right hand. And against the guy in Kopylov, who's such a high-level striker, I think it's going to be harder to land on him compared to a guy like Jack Hermanson. I might be going dog here. I might be going Roman Kopylov. I think I'll pick him. Well, I bet him. I feel like I have to if I'm picking him, right? Rohan, you tell me. I hope we disagree here, but you
look, no, honestly, I've been going back and forth. I don't hate the bet just because, you know, at that price, I think, like, I saw it at plus 140, plus 130. I think it's still really good. The only thing I worry about, like, I just can't get a read on Kopylov. Like, I mean, I remember he knocked out, like, this is a while ago when he knocked out, like, Brenson Ribeiro. And I was like, oh, this dude's going to be a problem. And he was. I mean, he fought Josh Fremd after that, you know, whatever, decent win, but he still knocked him out. Lost to Fluffy, but Fluffy's really, really good. We know that. Beat Cesar Almeida, beat Chris Curtis. Like, he's been good. The Paulo Costa one, I actually did have a feeling that Paulo would win that, so I'm not surprised. And I do think that Paulo is a little bit more of an offensive weapon than Gregory Rodriguez. Like, I think, look, Rodriguez, he thrives in chaos. Like, he does do his best work in close quarters. He loves like a barn burner type fight where he's just in the pocket, exchanging big blows. And he has the option whenever he wants to drop levels and take you down. And I do think that that's not like necessarily the fight that Kopylov will want. I think Kopylov prefers to strike at a distance where he has the ability to let his kicks go whenever he wants. And I don't think Gregory's going to give him that. I think like everybody he's fought, I mean, has fallen under the same, and that he's beat, I mean, has fallen victim to the same shit. It's just him coming forward and throwing heavy shots nonstop. You know, Cannonier, that there were so many times in that fight where I thought, you know, Cannonier might be done, and then Gregor gasses himself out. I don't know if Kopylov has that same type of, you know, resistance as Cannonier, if he has the chin to withstand some of these shots that Gregor is going to land. I think the kicks are definitely going to be something to watch out for. Kopylov's really good at just sneaking up a high kick here and there. But ultimately, I feel like Gregory, you said it, man, the grappling has to be what he's looking to do in this fight. And I know it never is. Like, it never is. But it has been sometimes. I remember against Chidi, he eventually, you know, worked his way inside, took him down, and finished that fight. I think this is something. This is a matchup where he has to be looking to close the distance, get, you know, to Kopylov, you know, clinch him up and just land some big shots. But to do that over 3 rounds is going to be tough. You know, he's getting a little older. But man, I don't know. I'm still gonna pick RoboCop. I gotta pick him, man. He's such a freaking beast, and he's just able to eat such a shot. I think Roman is a little more susceptible to getting hit with those big shots, and you know, actually showing the damage on his face, and just, you know, that damage sticks in his head. I think Gregory is just not. He's not gonna give a fuck what he gets hit with unless he gets put out. He's gonna keep coming forward. So I'm gonna pick Gregory Rodriguez. I mean, slight favorite. I see the line shifting. I understand it. But yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly fight, and he's going to thrive in that environment.
Finally, we're on different sides, but I'm going the dog. Roman Kopylov, I think he gets it done. Rohan going RoboCop.
This is another fight, but like, I mean, there's so many. We've seen. I mean, Mariscal always has potential to be fight of the night. Wellmaker fight could be fight of the night. This one could be fight of the night. There's so.
All right. Sorry, did we lose you? You kind of cut out there for a second.
No, I finished my point. I keep muting just so I don't give you any, you know, audio.
No, you're bad. I think this looks better when I zoom in on these two guys like this. Maybe
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I got it pulled up myself, so I don't really need any of the other information. But that's just for the viewer. But I guess, like, you know, they know at this point.
They know. Well, first of all, before I get into this feature prelim, actually, we'll do comments before the first fight on the main card. This fight, we've got Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Line's currently at Bo Nickel minus 220. I think Bo wins. I think this is a good bounce back spot for him. I think Vieira sucks. I think he's old. I think he's washed. I mean, how does Rodolfo Vieira win this fight? I mean, I think that Bo Nickel is just going to be able to outstrike him. I think Vieira is not getting takedowns on Bo Nickel. He's not submitting Bo Nickel. I don't think Bo Nickel is going to go for takedowns on Vieira. I think it's going to be a close striking fight, and I just think Bo Nickel's more athletic. I think he's way more athletic. I kind of think he's going to beat up Vieira on the feet, as crazy as that is. Like, Bo Nickel, the guy who's supposed to come in here as this one of the best wrestlers of all time. I don't think he's going to shoot. I don't think Vieira is going to shoot. I think it's going to be a striking fight, and I think Bo Nickel's going to win a striking fight. I do. I think this fight goes over. I think it goes a distance. Give me Bo Nickel by decision, just winning on the feet, as crazy as that sounds.
I mean, shit, he did it against Paul Craig. So if he did it against Paul Craig, he should be able to do it against.
Okay. There I have to disagree. Paul Craig is like the worst fighter ever.
Well, but this is what but these are the type of matchups he needs. Honestly, like I just think his hype is so derailed, is so killed that even a fight like this, are we completely sure that he's gonna have an easy time doing what we say he's gonna do? Like, not necessarily. I mean, yes, you're right about everything that you just said. I think the wrestling will cancel each other out here. Rodolfo's always been one to prioritize taking the fight to the ground, but you can't do that against somebody like Bo. And I don't think Bo wants to even get into any dangerous situations where his neck could be snatched up or a limb could be snatched up, because the jiu-jitsu game is a little different sometimes. But I think I gotta agree, just for all the reasons you just said. More athletic, fast twitch. I don't know, man. It's not going to look impressive. I really don't think it's going to look impressive. I don't think he knocks him out necessarily. Maybe he does, but I could see it just a 30-27 Bo, squeaks by every round, just barely doing more damage. And because I think, at this point, Vieira's so washed and he's so lumbering in there on the feet that, you get him past a certain point and he's just going to become sort of a low output punching bag sort of figure. And I think that's the fight that Bo needs. At this stage, I just don't think that Bo is ever going to amount to much in the UFC. I'm sorry to say it like that. I just think it was a little too late of a transition. Maybe the wrestling not even as good as we really expected it to be. I remember, the Cody Brundage fight, for example, like all these fights where different facets of his game is getting exposed. But this is a matchup where if he's going to win a fight, I mean, shit, it doesn't get much, more favorable than this. So you got to take Bo. I'm going to agree with you, but might not look too pretty, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bo Nickel, close decision. I think unanimous. It's a weird fight, though.
He better win a unanimous decision, because if not, then they might be.
I don't think it's going to be fun at all.
It's not like Vieira's not like a pushover. Like, he's a very menacing figure, so I don't want him to get scared in there. I don't know. People have been saying, I don't know, he's doing too much podcasting. His head's not where it needs to be. Man, this fight right here.
Is that what people are saying?
That's what I've heard some people say. You saw the video of him like crying over Charlie Kirk and shit like that. Like,
no.
Yo, that shit came out today. It was so funny, bro. They asked him about Charlie Kirk and he started like breaking down low-key. I mean, hey, bro. I don't know. He better get his shit together.
All right, if you say so. We're here, main card. Before we do that, we've got some comments we got to go over. We've got Lenny. Good to see Lenny back. He says, let's fucking go. Finally back for this card. Let's make some extra Christmas money. That's what we're here for. We got JT Ure, good friend of the show. Glad to see him back, saying, dang, the stream started already. I missed y'all. Where y'all been at? We're right here. We're right here, and we're back, and we're good to go. Casey saying, so glad y'all are back. Thank you, Casey. We appreciate it. We got this guy, Banked Eric Nelson. Not sure who he is, but good to see him here. Saying, everyone knows No Nickel, I'm assuming he means Bo Nickel, is beating Hamza at MSG. I couldn't agree more. Everybody knows. Everybody knows Bo Nickel, best fighter on the planet. Couldn't agree more. Here we are, main card. First fight of the main card. We've got Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I do not understand the line. I think Beneil Dariush should be a favorite. I do not see how he's an underdog. How is Beneil Dariush an underdog here, Rohan? Explain to me. I mean, Benoit Saint Denis has one good fight against the guy in Mauricio Rufe, has little to no grappling, and all of a sudden he deserves to be a close to minus 200 favorite. He was just a minus 200, and people bet him down a little bit. I think Beneil Dariush is a better striker. I think Beneil Dariush probably a slightly worse grappler, but I think that on the feet, he's significantly better. I think Benoit Saint Denis does not wear damage well, and I think Benoit Saint Denis doesn't have a lot for Beneil Dariush on the feet at this stage of Saint Denis' career. I think Saint Denis has taken so much damage throughout his UFC career that he's kind of regressed in a sense. And I really do think that Beneil, although he's older, will look younger. And I just think he's going to be the fresher fighter, as crazy as that sounds. It's the first time in a long time that he's going to be facing a fighter who's probably not going to drop him, probably not going to be a major threat on the feet early. I think Beneil Dariush is going to win this fight by decision. I honestly think he's going to win by unanimous decision. I think he wins all 3 rounds, and I really like him here as an underdog. I think the grappling is very, very close. I honestly might even slightly favor BSD, but I just think Dariush is better at game planning. I think he's just the better all-around mixed martial artist, and I like him here as a dog. Who do you got?
Yeah, once again, man. I mean, a lot of questionable lines, but this one is a little. It's so recency bias. I mean, you can see it right blatantly in our faces. But look, man, Beneil Dariush, he still only lost to Arman Sarukian and Charles Oliveira since 2018. I mean, there's got to be a lot to say about that. And he's beaten some tough guys along the way. Most recently, Renato Moicano, and pretty much destroyed him, man. And he looked really good in that fight. So yeah, man, I think the last time we saw BSD in a spot like this versus a vet where he was, heavily priced, a lot of people expecting him to just come through and handle business, was against Dustin Poirier. And we saw how that one went. There were a fair share of back and forth exchanges on the feet, but ultimately when Dustin, locked in that choke, I mean, it was done. And we haven't really seen BSD tested on the ground since. Obviously there was his loss against Renato Moicano, which was its own issue, obviously a doctor stoppage, but still, he did not look good in that fight. Kyle Prepelec after that, he should have won. He did win. And then Hoofi, who again, like you mentioned, has never shown any grappling whatsoever. Now he's facing a completely different stylistic matchup against somebody who's very well-rounded. Beneil Dariush has always been somebody who can mix it up wherever the fight goes. He'll, lock in a weird submission on you if you give him the opportunity. I just think he's so tried and tested that this is not a style that he hasn't seen before. I mean, he is going to be prepared for what BSD has, and I think that you're right about the damage that BSD has accumulated across his career so far. He's taken just such big shots, and I mean, he's worn the damage on his face. He's called the God of War for a reason. I know he's a whole soldier and all that. He has such an interesting background, but none of that matters when the octagon doors close. And Beneil Dariush has just been in there with everybody. I just think that, yeah, man, he's going to feel like he has every advantage in this fight, and he should. And I think, yeah, I could even see a submission, honestly. I could even see a late submission for Benny Dariush. But, yeah, I like it again. Another unanimous underdog pick. I hate to keep doing it, folks, but one of them is going to cash. So I would just suggest betting all of them, honestly. Bet some underdogs and let's make some money, because this is a weird line for sure, and I think it might get flipped.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be flipped. I think it's too wide for it to become. If you mean that it'll look flipped, I agree. I don't think the line will be flipped.
Not flip entirely, but it might get watered down even more. Just because I think people are that BSD fight in France happened so recently. It's still top of everybody's mind. But that was the exact same situation before he fought Poirier, and we saw what happened. So I think people will start to come to their senses. Excuse me, but yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I hear you. We're both going Beneil Dariush as a dog in that one. Next fight, we've got Leon Rocky Edwards versus Carlos Prates. I like Prates here a lot, and I think it makes sense. Yeah, Rohan's laughing. We'll hear why in a second, but I think Prates I think Leon, I've never been high on Leon, even as a champion. I think his striking defense is just not that good. And if Prates is just willing to come forward and just do his thing, which he didn't do in his fight against Ian Gary, I think that Prates can win this fight. He cannot. I mean, we're going to see in this fight how smart Carlos Prates really is as a fighter. We know how dangerous he is. We know how talented he is as a striker. But we're really going to learn how smart is he, because this is in some ways kind of a similar matchup to that Ian Gary fight. You've got a point fighter in Leon Edwards who's going to keep his range and try to win a striking fight based on distance. This is, if Prates is willing to come forward with no regard to what Leon's throwing at him, he's the better striker, and he's going to knock this dude out. I think that if Prates knows that Leon isn't that much of a threat to him, he can win this fight. I think Prates learns from his mistakes from that Ian Gary fight. He also has only 3 rounds here, so he can't try to bail himself out in round 5 this time around. He's going to have to make it happen. He's going to have to make it happen fast, and I think he does. I think he knows what's at stake, and I think Carlos Prates wins, and I think he gets a knockout. I think he does. Who do you got?
I don't know, man. This is just such a fun fight for me, just because it's such a litmus test for both of them. It's a litmus test for both of them because, look, Leon's losses is his last two. He's looked ass. There's no hiding that. He's looked ass in both. But they're just, I mean, Sean Brady grappled the shit out of him. He grappled the shit out of him and guillotined him. Bilal Muhammad did the exact same thing. I mean, he's got to feel so good. This is a 3-round fight. This is the first time. Even Colby and Kamaru are wrestlers. When's the last time he even fought a striker? I think it was Nate Diaz in 2021 was the last time he fought somebody that you could call a striker. And Prates is, I mean, as dangerous as an opponent on the feet can get. I mean, he is so dangerous everywhere. I mean, with the knees, the elbows, the spinning attacks, the straight attacks, he's got it all. But I mean, you look at the Jeff Neal fight. It was an ideal matchup for Carlos Prates. What does he like to do? He's a counter fighter, typical Brazilian counter fighter on the feet, Anderson Silva style, Alex Perez style, just waiting for you to fuck up. And Jeff Neal just, I mean, continuously chasing him, coming in with these heavy shots. Carlos is just waiting because he's the longer guy. All he has to do is, hit you one time on the counter clean because you can't really see it. Your head is ducking down. Those are the shots that he kept hitting Jeff Neal with and ultimately knocked him out, retreating with a spinning back elbow. Nothing, surprising about that outcome, really. The fight before that, like you mentioned, Ian Gary is the closest thing that you could, compare to somebody like Leon Edwards, somebody that's not going to chase you around the ring. He's going to stand his ground and kind of wait for you to fuck up. And I do think that if, Carlos hasn't learned from that Ian fight, then we could see another one where it's just like, okay, well, who's going to have the first big moment? They keep throwing teeps and calf kicks and a jab here and there, but who's going to really step up and take it? I think both of these guys are going to have a lot of motivation, but I think Rocky needs this win more than any fight of his life. I mean, this is going to be 3 in a row, and he's going to be completely out of the title picture. He's still only, 34 years old. He's not, super old. I think he still thinks highly of himself. I think he still thinks that he can reach, contendership once again. And look, this is it's a nice stylistic fight for Leon Edwards. I have to say that I think, somebody that's going to sit on the outside and play the same game as you. Leon has some nasty kicks. He has some really nasty body attacks. And I don't know. It's going to depend on the output of Carlos Prates. I do think that this fight is going decision. I don't think Leon's going to get knocked out. I think, Jeff kind of gave Prates that knockout. Neil Magny before that. I mean, come on. The Jing Liang one was nasty. But again, these are guys, Jing Liang and Jeff Neal, they chased them around. Neil Magny is just very fragile sometimes. I don't think Leon Edwards is comparable to any of those guys. I think he's more comparable to Machado Gary, like you said. So I think we're going to see a similar style fight to that, where both of them are standing on the outside, picking some shots. And ultimately, I'm going to trust Leon Edwards. I'm going upset once again. I'm going Leon Rocky Edwards to just do more work. I do not think he finishes Carlos Prates. I don't think Prates finishes him. But I think, yeah, if Leon wants to rediscover some of that striking that he had previously in his, run to the title, where he, was knocking out Gunnar Nelson and doing all these nasty things. Well, he didn't knock him out, but he hurt him real bad. I don't know. It's a nice fight for Leon Edwards, but it's going to be a fun one. I just think, I was so scared by what I saw in that Prates Gary fight. I just could not believe what I was seeing from Carlos because there was no output. There was no offense. Even when Gary wasn't throwing, it was like, dude, you got to do something. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with Leon to just lean on experience and get this one done. But it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I just got to go with the youthfulness of Prates. I just think he's too skilled. And I don't think Leon mixes in grappling like Ian, so I do think it's a different fight. I think I hear what you're saying again, but I'm on the other side. Give me Prates. All right, let's go. Next one. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. Another really good fight. Man, this fucking card is so good. I think Sean Brady wins, though. I think he does. I think that here's what I'll say about this fight. Sean Brady, first of all, really impressed me in his last fight. I mean, he outright dominated Leon Edwards, got the finish. Great win. The thing here is Michael Morales at this stage in his career is better than Leon Edwards, but it's a completely different fight. And I don't think it'll matter for Sean Brady because I think he wins again. I think on the feet, it's going to be a massive advantage for Morales. But here's the issue. I don't see Brady having a lot of success on the feet at all. But the problem here for Michael Morales is that he struggles big time setting up his strikes. I mean, the guy just relies so much on his athleticism. He just throws shots, he wings shots, and it's worked for him a lot. in his UFC career so far. Just look at that Gilbert Burns fight. There was no setup to anything he did. It was pure athleticism, and he knocked the dude out. This is a completely different fight. I think Brady is smart enough to see the shots coming, to see those winging shots coming. It's going to be a lot to take, but I think he's going to block them. I think he's going to be smart. I think he's going to keep his high guard up. He's going to keep his shell up. And I think he's going to time those takedowns, and I think he's going to get Morales down, and I think he's going to dominate. I think he's going to win a clear decision. We saw Michael Morales, even his fight against Adam Fugit a few years ago. I think that was back in 2023. Adam Fugit was even able to get some trip takedowns on Sean Brady. I mean, Adam Fugit was even able to get some trip takedowns on Michael Morales. If Adam Fugit is doing that to you, what is Sean Brady, one of the best grapplers in the UFC, going to do to you? I think Brady is a very smart fighter, and I think he's smart enough to take down Michael Morales. Morales is still young, only 26. He's only 26. He's got time to develop, learn MMA a bit better. He's so athletic. In about 2-3 years, I think this guy's going to be really good. I just think this is a little bit too soon. I like Sean Brady. I think he wins a decision.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I've never been like per se a fan of Sean Brady, but I can't deny how well he really controls things, well in the octagon. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get, sped up or slowed down. He kind of just stays in his element throughout the entire fight, and he's able to just stay the course and get victory. The only loss on his record is so funny, bro. That's got to be the funniest one loss on your record, to be knocked out by Belal. I'm sorry. That's got to be the funniest shit ever. But, hey, like, he's improved leaps and bounds since then. You can't deny that was in 2022. He's continued to just get better and better and better. Chain wrestling is on point. Chain grappling is on point. He's so good at just transitioning from position to position, ultimately setting up his submissions on the ground. Yeah, I mean, you broke it down perfectly. It's going to come down to, can he withstand the early fire of Michael Morales? Because Michael Morales, that Gilbert Burns fight lasted like 3 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, and even before that, Neil Magny, round 1. The last time he went past was Jake Matthews, a 3-round fight. He did win that unanimously, but that was 2023. Jake Matthews is not Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady presents a lot of different challenges. But yeah, on the feet, I think round 1 is going to be the biggest issue for Sean Brady. Can he survive the storm in round 1? Can he just honestly, make Morales feel him a little bit in round 1, clinch him up, land some shots there, at least try to take him down, hopefully get him down for some time, but then wear on him, because I think over 3 rounds is where you see the levels start to show. Sean Brady starts to get more comfortable, starts to understand the distance a little better, starts to set up his takedowns, and then ultimately he will probably be able to get Morales under control. So I think, yeah, it's a good breakdown. I honestly agree with a lot of what you said. Sean Brady is a really undeniable talent right now. He just took out the former champ Leon Edwards. Before that, another former contender in Gilbert Burns. He's starting to string together some really good wins. I know this is an undefeated fighter, but I think this is it's very clearly the biggest challenge of Morales' career. So yeah, I think Sean Brady probably does get it done, but he's going to have to bite down on that mouth guard in round 1 for sure.
Yep. Same page. All right, co-main event time. Valentina Shevchenko taking on Weili Zhang. Weili Zhang trying to capture that second belt. About time she goes up. We're here, and it's
Can I just say something? I've been calling for this fight for fucking 3 years. That's all I gotta say, and it's finally happened. So I think y'all.
You've been calling for it,
huh? I've been calling the Dana. Please.
This is the fight you wanted. No other fight. This is what you want.
No, this one, bro. I've been calling for double champ status, and now they don't even do double champ anymore. So she had to abandon the shit. But look, Zhang Weili. Hey, I'm just starting. I'm sorry. I'm just starting with my call, bro. Zhang Weili. This is the moment that she's been waiting for so long. I think she's just ran circles around that fucking other division, bro. She's ran circles around them all. She needs a new challenge, and I think she's just catching Valentina at the perfect time. I mean, we've seen it, recently with Valentina. She's had to rely on her, veteran nature to just get through her fights. Against Tyler Santos, which was arguably a loss. I'm going all the way back, but look, I still think she lost that fight. I'm not gonna lie. Then Alexa Grasso lost that one. Then a split decision. Then another, decision. I mean, she's had to go late into fights and just really rely. Even in the Fiorot fight, she just turned into a complete, grappler, complete wrestler, and controlled her the entire time. But that's what she had to do. look, Zhang Weili is just a different challenge than I think anybody that she's even fought recently. I think that even her and Alexa Grasso are just in a different tier. I really believe that with my full heart. I think Zhang Weili is so freaking dangerous on the feet. Presents so many different challenges. You're never safe with her in the pocket at distance. She's so good at closing the distance. And I mean, she's trying to get more comfortable on the ground. Obviously, that last fight against, well, before she destroyed Tatiana Suarez, the Zhang Jianan fight was very concerning, right? From a mutual, I mean, from a fan of hers perspective, I'm just like, okay, well, I don't like the way, you know, you're kind of looking a little sloppy on the feet at times, got taken down a couple times, but she weathered the storm and got it done. I think, look, at this point in Valentina's career, there's no way that her athleticism is going to withstand what Zhang Weili has to offer for 5 rounds. I mean, she's been in how many 5-round wars too? Zhang Weili, she is no stranger to these type of long, drawn out fights. And I just think that, yeah, it's the perfect time. I think she's just going to be too much for Valentina on the feet. I think she'll do a decent enough job, containing the takedowns. That is Valentina's path to victory, is the takedowns again, as it usually is. But as she's gotten older, it's become less and less reliable. So I just think that this is too much for her right now. Give me Zhang Weili. I have no idea what the odds are. I don't have any clue. I didn't check at all. You can let me know, actually. But yeah, that's where I'm going.
You are so wrong about this one. I mean, just so wrong. I hate to break it to you. You're so wrong. The line's currently -130 Shevchenko, +110 Weili Zhang. And you're just so wrong. You're so incorrect. Let me turn my do not disturb on. Sorry about that. I think Shevchenko just impressed me so much. First of all, let me just say, I thought that Shevchenko lost her last fight to Manon Fiorot. I don't care. There's nothing to do with me picking this fight. She impressed me. The fact that she was able to win that fight, at least in the judges' eyes, against such a physically talented girl in Manon Fiorot, was extremely impressive. Weili Zhang has been able to win fights at strawweight mainly because of her physicality and how strong she is for that weight class. She's losing all that here. She's going to have no physicality advantage against Shevchenko. Shevchenko is coming off a fight against Manon Fiorot, who is one of the strongest fighters we've ever seen pound for pound in any women's division ever. What is Weili Zhang going to bring here against Shevchenko? I just don't know. I think Shevchenko's going to defend whatever. If Weili decides to wrestle, I don't think she's taking Valentina down. And on the feet, I mean, we know Valentina is just an elite Muay Thai striker. I think she's going to be able to set up that.
Hasn't really shown that, though. She hasn't been able to show that. She really hasn't shown a lot of the strike. I think it's pretty fair to say that her strike.
I watched the last fight with Manon Fiorot.
No, I mean she did, but it's a completely different challenge, and she had to turn into a wrestler at certain points in that fight to, win rounds at a time because it was getting uncomfortable at times. I mean, and even Grasso, I mean, they're a bit. What did she do in the last Grasso fight? Just held her down. Like I do agree that look, Weili's gonna lose a lot going up in weight, but the speed and athleticism I think it's probably gonna stick with her. And I mean, just given her age, I think it's the perfect time for somebody like Weili who really hasn't had, too much of an issue with I mean, she just fucking fought Tatiana Suarez, who's one of the bigger strawweights and one of the best, wrestlers in the female division. So it's like, I think that fight, coming off of a fight like that, gaining some confidence off of some matchup like that will give her even more heading into this one. But yeah, I see what you mean though. I definitely see what you mean about, how she's won her fights off of physicality. But Valentina, I think her physicality is declining.
I think that you're right. The speed will probably slightly be in the favor of Weili Zhang, but I just think that Valentina is a smart fighter. I think she's dealt with physicality before. I think Weili Zhang's going to bring nothing new. She's a great fighter, but I just think that Weili's going to be thrown off. Weili, has she ever even fought a southpaw striker before? I don't even think she has. There's just too much unknown. She's moving up in weight. She's never fought somebody like Valentina Shevchenko. There's just too much unknown for you to be picking her with confidence here. I just don't agree. I think Shevchenko wins. I think there's a reason she's a slight favorite here. I think fight week it opened dead even. The line's heading towards Shevchenko's way, and I agree. Give me Valentina Shevchenko to win this fight by decision. I think we can both agree this one's probably going the distance. But
they're gonna finish. It's gonna be a fun though, bro. I'm just so excited to see these two lock in the cage together because it just feels like they've been so destined to fight at some point. Like we saw Valentina fight when Amanda was still there, how they had their wars together. I think this was always destined to happen, so I'm just very excited to see it for sure.
Yep. All right, here we are. Main event: JDM versus Islam Makhachev. Before we do that, we'll jump in to a few of these comments. Hughes saying he's got Sean in the Sean Brady versus Michael Morales fight. Adam saying, where have y'all been? You can go to the beginning of this live stream if you want to know where we've been at, but we're back, and that's all that matters. Hughes saying Weili by points. Yeah, but look how she struggled with Grasso, and now put Grasso and Weili next to each other. Well, that first fight was very, very close. You're right. But if we're going off their most recent fight, which was that trilogy, Valentina Shevchenko dominated that fight 50-45. So not sure you can take anything from that. We've got this guy again, not sure who he is, but saying, well, Weili picked up Ngannou. You just hate Chinese people if you say she won't win. I guess I'm racist then. Here we are, main event. JDM versus Islam Makhachev. This fight I've been thinking about ever since JDM's title defense against Belal Muhammad. This is the only fight I can think about for both of these fighters. I think that this fight is pretty straightforward to break down. I think if Islam Makhachev gets his takedowns, I think he submits Jack Della Maddalena. If he happens to be too small for this weight class and can't get his takedowns, I think JDM wins a decision. Simple as that. We saw in that Islam Poirier fight, Islam really struggled to get, Dustin Poirier down to the ground. Now he's taking on JDM, who's a bit bigger. He's actually significantly bigger. They're at 170. Of course he is. I think that if JDM's able to stuff these takedowns, and this is a striking fight, JDM's going to win a decision. He's the better striker here. However, JDM makes mistakes on the ground. If you look at that fight between JDM and Belal, when Belal was able to get JDM down to the ground, JDM knew Belal wasn't a submission threat, so he was willing to put his neck out there to get up. He was willing to sprawl. He was willing to climb up to the fence because he knew that Belal didn't have, let's say, a Darce choke in his arsenal, which we know Islam is so good at. If JDM gets taken down, he needs to stay down and not squirrel up like he did against Belal because Islam Makhachev hunts submissions. When Islam Makhachev was first making the rise up the lightweight division and people were comparing him to Khabib, the main difference they saw was Khabib, he will strictly focus on beating the shit out of you and taking your soul. Islam Makhachev is completely different. He hunts for submissions. And Islam Makhachev, if he gets that Darce opening in that sprawl position, he will lock up that Darce. And JDM has left that position wide open. We saw in that Belal fight, he left that position wide open multiple times. But can we rely on JDM to recognize that Islam is a much bigger, a much more significant submission threat than Belal? I think he's smart. I think he knows that. But can we rely on him to not get taken down? We know Islam's putting on. We know Islam has put on a lot of weight for this fight. I think that, as I mentioned, this goes two ways. If he gets him down, we don't know how much stronger Islam truly is at this weight class. But if he is significantly bigger and if this 170 move has helped him out a lot, then I think that Islam gets JDM down, and I think he finds a submission. But man, if we see the same Islam that we saw in that Dustin fight, I think JDM wins a decision. I think JDM might even find a finish. I think outright, I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena to win this fight. I'm going to go with the outcome that he does stuff the takedowns, that he does win. But man, if you see if you see Islam get that first round takedown, and if he doesn't get that submission in round one somehow, I think you tap that Islam money line live because I think he'll eventually find that neck. It's a close fight, but I'm going JDM. I think he does stuff to takedowns. I think he's more physical. I think he's the better striker. I think he wins the decision. Give me Jack Della Maddalena. Money line. Line's currently minus 240 to Makhachev, plus 205 to JDM. Give me JDM. Fuck it.
Bro, I love the breakdown. First of all, I love the breakdown. I'm very kind of, convincing me to side with JDM, but it's just so tough, man, because Islam he's undeniable. He does what he does, and he even he finds a way. He just finds a way. He's good at doing what he needs to do. But there is the one separator between him and Habib, which you mentioned is like Habib was the type that like he did not give a fuck if he got hit on the way in because he was gonna eat that shit and he was still gonna take you down. He was still gonna find a way to get you down and just make life hell for you and make you not even want to get back up because you just know he's gonna get you back down right away. That was the type of fighter Habib was, a relentless pressure fighter. But Islam is just much more methodical. But I don't think that necessarily that is a approach that he can feel comfortable taking in this fight because JDM is going to be in his zone on the feet. I mean, that's what he does. He is one of the best boxers since he's been in the UFC. He's been one of the best boxers. I don't think Islam has fought a boxer to the degree of JDM in his career. I think JDM does such a good job of mixing up his shots to the body, finding different angles to land combinations, mixing in those knees in the pocket. His kicking game isn't the best, but he will, implement it at distance, kick, give you some calf kicks at distance. But I just think, the size and the physicality on the feet is going to be a lot for Islam to overcome in a striking, primarily a striking fight. So he's going to have to, go all out for the takedown more so than he really ever has before, because that is going to be imperative for him to win this fight. And like you mentioned, I mean, we were at that Dustin Poirier fight, when he looked, there were times in that fight where Dustin was catching him. He looked cut up. His face was busted up at the end of it, but he still found a way to push through. It's going to be a lot tougher to will himself to victory and withstand a lot of the damage against somebody like JDM, who just naturally has so much more power, naturally is just more of a threat on the feet than Dustin even was. It's tough, man. It's a really tough fight for Islam. And I mean, I'm seeing the odds, I'm at like minus 265 some places. I wouldn't feel comfortable betting that, at that price. And for that reason, I just think that I don't know, man. It's tough because it's like one of two outcomes. Either he gets the takedown and he, either submits him or wears on him over time. But how's his stamina going to hold up in a new weight class? How is his durability going to hold up? We've seen him tag before. Even Alex Volkanovski, who was coming up a weight class to fight him in their first fight, had him in some precarious situations. So he just cannot. He has to withstand a lot coming back at him from Jack Della Maddalena. But I don't know, man. This is such a tough fight. I'm so excited to watch it. But I think just on merit and just wrestling ability alone, I think it's so hard to deny Islam at least getting Jack down, a couple times in this fight and probably holding him once he does, because I just think that Jack, like you said, he's prone to making some mistakes on the ground, and you just can't. You have to really be flawless on the ground against Islam to even have a chance. Otherwise, your neck is going to get smashed up at some point. I don't think the knockout is on the table for Islam here, but man, I think it's just so hard to see him not getting Jack down at some point in this fight and making him uncomfortable as soon as he does. So I'm going to pick Islam by submission, maybe round 2, round 3. I think that first round is more of a feel out. I think both fighters have their moment. And if that second round, even Islam, it just takes one little duck under the jab, duck under just one little timing of the takedown, and that's all it'll take. I don't know. It's just too much in that family, that heritage and the history of that family. It's all coming into this decision here. I think having Coach Habib in the corner is going to help him out. All that shit is going to factor in, but it's going to be a fun fight. I can't wait. And I think there is such a high chance that Jack Della Maddalena does win this fight and, kind of shock the world, although he wouldn't be shocking you. I respect the pick, man. I'm not ballsy enough to take it, but I respect it a lot. I love it. I'm very excited.
There you go, folks. There it is. He's going Islam. I'm going JDM. I think it's going to be a great fight, though. Very, very interesting. One of the most intriguing stylistic fights ever. Simple as that.
Really.
There you guys go. Chat, any final words before we sign off? We've been here for almost an hour and a half, which is kind of crazy.
I knew it would be like that. The first one back. Got a lot to say.
Also, 14 fights. It's a lot.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. 14 fights too.
Yeah. But anybody got some final words? We can look at what the chat's saying. Triad saying my JDM pick is not the move. thanks. Islam will submit JDM. That's what a lot of people think. Yeah, this is going to be a great card. I'm really looking forward to it. But for now, I think this has been a great first episode back. Any final words, Rohan?
Nah, man, I'm excited to be back. You know, keep an eye out for more content, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, all that, and more YouTube videos, because that's something that we definitely want to emphasize going forward is the longer form YouTube content. So be on the lookout for that. You know, this week, next week, we're gonna keep the content coming. We're in our new chapter, our new phase, and we're just so excited to be back. So we're glad to have you guys with us. Enjoy this weekend. It's gonna be a fucking banger card for sure.
Everybody, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I cannot forget our theme music. Where is it? Where is it?
You didn't have it queued though. See, you gotta have that shit queued.
Wait, which one was it? I forgot. Fuck.
It was like ding, ding, ding. And we can switch it up. This is a new era. We can switch up the outro. Oh no.
No.
Okay. You found the OG. Yeah. Hey guys, this is gonna be a fun ass card, bro. I haven't been this excited for a UFC card in a long ass time.
It's gonna be great. Rohan and I will be together watching. It's about time we back, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been Lucas and Rohan. We're signing off. We're back. We'll see you soon. Peace.